Patreon, going strong. If you want to go over there and join in on the fun, we got 3 tiers on Canadian dollars. First tier is $3 a month, where you get these episodes ad free. You also get AMAs once a month, or learn about me episodes once a month. And then on the second tier, which is $5 a month, you get everything from the first tier, as well as coverage of a reality show of yesteryear. That's right now Jersey Shore, currently in season 3. You can also go to the main feed, where there will be the first episode of every season released there. So you can try that before you head over to the Patreon. And then on the third tier, you get everything from the first 2 tiers, as well as coverage from a true crime documentary. We got the backlog of Ashley Madison documentary, Man with 1,000 Kids, Into the Fire, Lacey Peterson, and again, all those episodes for the first episode of each is in the main feed, so you can try that before you head over. So if you are interested, you can head over to patreon.com/realityt times 2, and you can sign up for whichever tier you feel for. Again, you can try before you buy, which basically means you can try any tier for a week before committing to it. Even if you are on other tier, if you are on tier 1 or the first tier and you want to go over to the second tier, you could still try that second tier for a week before committing to the upgrade. So again, that is at patreon.com/realityt times 2. And of course, the link is in the show notes, website, social media accounts. It's all available there. Welcome to Reality Tea Times 2, the podcast where we discuss all the trash reality TV that we love to hate. I'm Tanika, and today we are going to be talking Love is Blind Season 9. Again, this as a reminder, look out for the announcement episode for the Christmas break, which is going to be coming out every Wednesday of the week at noon Eastern Standard Time, where there you can listen to the full situation of what's to come. But again, just as a reminder, the podcast will be on a break, quote unquote, from December. I should get the actual date in my hands, so I'm not always guessing, but it's going to be from December 8th until January 16th, with episodes starting back up on the 19th, regular episodes. But you're still going to be getting a lineup of episodes during that time. You will not be without. And you can head on over to those episodes that are being released on Wednesdays, as well as the socials will have the full list, lineup, all of that over there as well. But let's get into this episode 3, y'all. So if you remember, we left off with Patrick going into the pods and calling out Anna's name, and Anna was not there. And he's still calling out her name, and she's still not coming in. He goes out into the hall and says, "I don't hear anyone in my pod." And he goes back in and keeps calling out to her, and she is not there. He eventually leaves and goes back to the quarters and says she never came. Like, she ghosted him. At the women's quarters, she's not there either. Where the hell is she? Someone in the crew ends up telling Blake, which is why I don't understand why they didn't tell Patrick as well. But whatever. They tell Blake, "So yeah, your day left?" Anna left, y'all. Anna left. We got on-screen text saying Anna left the experiment and she did not say goodbye to her dates. What happened? I have so many questions. What happened? And why would you do that without talking to your people that you've been talking to? Like, what the hell happened? Here's what I think happened, y'all. I think Patrick scared her. I think the idea of Patrick scared her, and she ran away. And that really sucks. But we'll get into my feelings on that in a second. More so, where Patrick's concerned. So Mike admits, we go over to Mike here. He has some girl who will go into the sauna with him. Some random girl. I don't know nor understand. Um, but he'll do that. But it's strictly platonic. Nothing to worry about. It's fine. Right. Sure. So Mike is on a date with Megan and he starts talking about this single guy's kid, saying, "Oh, yeah, well, I heard his son's diabetic, y'all. It's Jordan." He's talking about Jordan. He's talking about sweet baby Luca. He's like, "Well, I just don't understand how that happens." What do you mean you don't understand how that happens? People are born with diabetes. Like, what? Like, I mean, we know how it happens, you know? What do you mean you don't know how that happens? Then he goes on to say this. Yeah, my friend, I mean, he was pre-diabetic and, he just changed his life and he got healthy. He started working out, like whatever, right? Don't understand how a child would have diabetes. Like, what? You stupid fuck. I'm gonna get mad because I have people in my family who are also uh type 1 diabetic. I have people who are type 2 diabetic. Um, I was considered pre-diabetic. Um, but at the same time, I also deal with another situation called PCOS that mimics diabetes in the sense of being insulin resistant. You stupid fuck. Someone who has diabetes, usually type 1, is usually born with it or diagnosed at a young age. It has nothing to do with your weight or how you eat or your lifestyle. It has to do with that is just what your body is doing to you. Type 1 diabetes cannot be cured. It's something you live with for the rest of your life, not changing your lifestyle, eating better, working out is going to magically make it better. What are you talking about, sir? And then not only that, you are talking shit about a 5-year-old kid. You're talking shit about a 5-year-old kid and him having diabetes. The other thing that pissed me off about this interaction is Megan fucking knows who he is talking about because she is also dating Jordan. And to me, the fact that she continues dating Mike throughout that process with her father also being type 1 diabetic is ridiculous to me. I don't understand. Just spoiler alert here. I do not understand how he managed to go as far as he did with Megan past this point. It would have been done for me right there and then. Like, how stupid and inconsiderate and just downright cold can you be when talking about a child and their situation? I hope Jordan rips him apart during the reunion. I really do. Which I know has aired. And I have not watched yet. I will. Don't worry. I'll get there. So Megan on her date with Jordan. Um, and I said, like, how could you not tell him, oh, by the way, people are talking shit about your kid. I don't understand. But I guess I think on her too, she's trying to protect the fact that who her other connections are. So I think that's why she's not saying anything. But like, listen, he comes out of the date. Jordan says, "I'm in love." And she did come out of the date and say, "I was going to friend zone him today, but he surprised me." She says, "I would never go for him in the real world." That is the reason you're here, though, is to not necessarily be with someone you would typically go out in the real world with. Because she says Mike is her typical type that she would go for. Let that be then a warning to you. There's a reason why There's a reason why. Megan is in the pod now, and I think she's supposed to be waiting for Blake. She walks into an empty pod. She's calling out to him, and no one's there. Very reminiscent of what we just experienced a few minutes ago. She goes back to the quarters and says, like, he's not in there. In the men's quarters, we see Blake with the producer saying, like, I don't know if it makes sense for me to continue. So at that point, we get on screen text saying that Blake chose to leave the experiment and he did not say goodbye to Megan. So that just kind of goes to show his number one was definitely Anna, and he dips out. We then have our reveal with Madison and Joe. He's like, I can't place the voice. Like, you just can't place that. And he's like, it's not what I was expecting. It's a surprise. More on that later. The voice, he says, I can now match that to her. Is it, oh, Everbring. They do that. And that's that. We have Brennan. I said Brennan, but it's Brendan and Annie. Are you affectionate? Yes. She's like, I want to be as close to my person as much as you possibly can. So you want to wear him like a skin suit? He's like, are you a possessive person? And she's like, yes. And like, in a good way. There's never a good way. There's never a good way to be possessive. But I digress. Then we have Annie with Nick the Dick. It's very sexual between them. Like, it's like, really? And he says, I'm a horn dog. Well, you ain't nothing but a hound horn dog, and we need to go away, please. He's like, I'm a little bit of a backed. He's like, I'm a little bit backed up. And I said, ew. You can go into a bathroom and do what you gotta do, my guy. Ew. Ugh. We then have, I'm not gonna use a nickname this time. We have Nick and Kate. He tells her he loves her. And then just word salad. Love bombing, essentially. He says, I never feel that you have to, sorry. He says, I never feel that you need to reciprocate. I wear my heart on my sleeve. And he says, you're my person. Meh. Rather later. We have Edmund and KB. Kleber. He says, no matter what she looks like, he's gonna ride with her. She reads this letter to him as she wrote. Say things like, you're my twin flame. Can we fucking stop with this shit? But whatever. I have battle scars from before, but you want to love me despite that. To have a man live so effortlessly is breathtaking. He's crying, of course. Your story is your story, and I want to show it because it has made you the man you are today, which I thought was sweet. He then says, will you pretty please marry me, please? And she says yes. And he is so excited. He's like, let's go. He says, thank you. I'm on cloud 12, not 9, but 12. So yeah. In the men's quarters, they're reveling that Blake would have left. So they don't even know he left. He just duped. And they don't even know he actually left. That's weird. Saying about whether there is something there with Casey. Casey? See, but Patrick is, oh, sorry. Patrick is still here. Sorry, I missed that part. Patrick's still here. And he's trying to see whether there could be anything there with Casey. So he's going to give it a couple more days. But if not, then he will just go back to Denver. We see Patrick and Mike talking, and they're talking about Casey. Mike says, Casey's out. And Patrick is like, she's my number one. But he says, I can see that I'm holding back. He's now trying to say to him and Anna, or trying to say him and Anna were too similar to what Patrick is saying. And I'm like, no, You were just saying that now because she broke your heart, but I don't think you guys were too similar because it wouldn't have worked out. But when asked, "Are you and Casey so similar?" and he can't even answer that question because they're not. But we'll talk about that later. We have Patrick and Casey, and she says, "You know what makes an espresso martini an espresso martini? Now, if you watch Below Deck, you know it's those three beans. You can't have two beans, you can't have four beans. If you have to have the right number of beans, and that is three. So yeah." He's like, "I would never lie to," she says, "I would never lie to you, Patrick." That would be like telling a guy who says that I oh, here we go. Yeah, I got it. That would be like telling a guy you look like Megan Fox, and I said, "I'm dead." Guys tell me that I kind of look like Megan Fox. No, you don't. But anyways, but he says, "I do like you." And she says, "I don't really know how you feel. And I'm a person that needs reassurance." And with this experience being so weird, she worries about his connections with other people. And he tells her, "Oh no, I had to cut a connection." And then the other, so yeah, she worries about his connections with other people. And he lies to her and tells her, "Oh no, like I had to cut a connection." Okay. So, there's a little bit of a break here, but she says that I'm getting teary eyed, but he says, "I just work with people who don't argue with their wife. They never complain," which again, I will say, just because your coworker isn't complaining about their wife doesn't mean they don't have issues or they don't have problems that they have to still resolve, because that's normal, you know? But he says, like, "I've never had that before." Anyways, let's move on. He goes back to the quarters and says, Blake ghosted her and Anna left. Did they did they leave together maybe? Oh no. But Mike calls Patrick and does like the triangle sign, I guess, about um I'm not sure what he was doing that for. I don't know. I'm confused. But anyways, Mike and Megan are on a date now. Great. And she says, "Hello." Nothing. Then he's like, "Are you getting ghosted right now?" That's mean. After she literally just went through being ghosted, you didn't have to do that. Like, I don't find him I don't find him cute at all. And not like looks wise, I mean just his personality. But he says, "I know too much right now. Where do I stand with you?" And she says, "You're up there." And Mike says, "You like guys that are trouble." Pretty much, I guess, trying to ensue not only am I trouble, but so is Jordan. Jordan's not trouble. I don't even think Blake is trouble. The only person who's trouble here is Mike. And he says, like, "You're dating two guys that are trouble." No, no, she's not. So she says, "You know who I'm dating?" And he makes her say it. But here's the thing, like, she's questioning how he knows. And I think trying to plant that seed of doubt that maybe Jordan is talking, but it's not that. It's just he's putting two and two together, I think, and figuring it out on his own. Um, but yeah, he makes her say it, and he's like, "Look at us building trust." Excuse me? So wait, your idea of her building trust is telling you who she's been dating in the past when at this point, really, she doesn't owe that to you. The only thing she owes to you, if anything, is that she is dating multiple people in the pods if it's getting further and further along, but she doesn't owe you anything else. And it felt so gross when he said it. I'm like, ew. Like, no. But she says, "Let me be honest. Say there are things about you, sorry, and say that there are things about you that remind me of my exes. That is your sign that this isn't it. He isn't it." He says, "I promise you I am nothing like your exes." But sir, how do you know that? You don't know her exes. You're you don't I hate when people say that 'cause like, but how do you know? I think But anyways, he's like, I do want there to be some similarities, I think is did she say that? I guess similarities in the sense of like the fire, the spark. Um, but it's like, okay, yeah, but those things are fleeting. It is okay to have a slower burn, you know? So, I mean, those things are okay too, but if it hasn't been working for you before, then why do you think it would happen now? You know? Um, I think we have similar backgrounds, similar ambitions. Maybe this is the kick in the ass that I needed to bring this to you. She's like, I don't want to sit here, or he says, I don't want to sit here pouring my heart out to you and look like an idiot. I mean, you really look like an idiot anyway, so it doesn't matter. And she says, I just need time. And he says, don't worry about it. It's all good. I don't fault you. You don't fault you in any way. Go get some sleep. Basically, like, he's butthurt, number one, but then also being like, it's okay. I don't need you. It's fine. Like, you want to go whatever, and then that's fine. Go sleep. It's just, it was very dismissive, I think is what I'm getting at, and I didn't like it. So I then get a reveal with KB and Edmund. He says, make sure the medic is around. I'm gonna need it. Well, yeah, well, But anyways, that's it for episode 3. Trying to think of what I'm doing here. Yeah, I'm gonna take a break here, and when we come back, we will hop in with episode 4. Hi everyone. So I have a new product for you to take part in. This one is called Zelda merch. Zelda, like the video game. So there's a little bit about Zelda merch. So they are the first store that is dedicated to the Legend of Zelda merch, and it stands out. At Zelda Merchandise, they specialize in delivering one-of-a-kind, high-quality Legend of Zelda merchandise that you won't find anywhere else. So whether you're a devoted fan of Zelda, or you collect unique items, or you're just searching for the perfect gift for someone, I could think of someone myself who I could gift this for. Their exclusive products are designed to celebrate your love for the series. So they pride themselves in offering a diverse range of premium items. So you can get stylish apparel or stunning accessories to captivating home decor and collectibles. So what sets them apart is their dedication to bringing you rare and distinctive creations inspired by the iconic world of Zelda. So from exclusive designs featuring your favorite characters and symbols to custom crafted treasures, you won't find this anywhere else. Everything in their store is made to amaze. So these are different things that you can find. If you're interested, you can get exclusive designs inspired by Zelda's legendary world, premium craftsmanship at the best prices, unique creative products that elevate your fandom. So they have like weekly bestsellers. They have different rings that you can partake in. They also have Bluetooth controllers or Joy-Con chargers, Nintendo Switch carry cases, Zelda games, of course, and they have Switch card holders, different controllers that are obviously Zelda inspired, or you can go for the more like merchandise type stuff. They have wallets, music boxes, phone cases, mouse pads, keycaps, purses, plushies, watches, mugs. I think I know what I'm going to be doing. I think I know what I'm going to be getting a special person in my life who loves Zelda. They have mugs, alarm clocks, backpacks. They also have different jewelries, necklaces, keychains, earrings. I mentioned the rings already, or even just other fun stuff like puzzles, paintings, rugs, blankets, even bedding. They also have stickers if you want to go that route, or wall art, posters. You can also get things for someone's birthday, birthday themed Zelda, figures, lamps, Lego. I mean, the list just goes on and on. So if you want to partake in that as well as support the podcast, you can go to Zelda merchandise.com/reality2. So that again is zelda-merchandise.com/reality2 to partake in that. There is also a coupon code that will also be reality2 that you can also use at checkout as well to support not only Zelda merchandise, but as well as the podcast. And I'm back. So episode 4. So we left off with the reveal, and she says, "You're so handsome, so different, but so handsome." She says this to him, and it's like, oh, I don't know if anyone wants to hear, "You're different, but you're handsome." You know what I mean? But he says, "I'm feeling all the emotions. I'm about to cry with a boner." Anyways, that's a reveal. Reveal goes good. Like I said, I will do my predictions at the end of what I thought as they were coming out of the pots before I was spoiled. But after that, there won't be anything because like I said, both spoiled. So anyway, we move on to Kate and Nick. Ugh. Her mom, we find out, passed away about a year ago, which I think we did talk about. Um, she says that she's a spiritual person, but open to religion. He says he has a close relationship with God. And she says with that, with what she experienced with her mom, it's tough because I think I think what she's getting at here, which I think unless you've gone through pretty massive loss, um, you're not going to fully understand, but you can have empathy for sure. And I think she's trying to get at here is I struggle with religion. I struggle with a God that can take my mom away from me. And that's the thing. Whether she had religion before, I'm not sure. And it doesn't matter. I don't really care. But I think if she did have it before, she needs to, in time, in her own time, restore that faith if she wants to. So I totally understand her. Her brother said, if there is a God, how could he let anyone go through this? There you go. She had colon cancer that spread everywhere over the course of about 10 years. And Nick says, I appreciate you getting deep with me. That's all you could say here. Nah, I'm so sorry for your loss. Maybe he didn't. I just didn't catch it. I just don't like him. I think that's what it comes down to. Then Nick is with Annie, and she admits she has another connection, and she can sense that he is hesitant with her. So I think she's talking about Nick is being hesitant with her because he seems to be all in on Kate right now. But he says, I'm just trying to figure out my connections. And she says that she has trust issues. Her ex was cheating on her with multiple women. And he says, well, I never cheat. Well, you don't cheat, but let's just say I've gotten to episode 11, so I know what happens. Or how it happens, I should say. I knew it happened. I just didn't know how it happened. He's like, I have weird convos with the boys. Like, my dick is on the side. And I'm like, do men really talk about this? Do men really have these types of conversations about their dick being on the side? Like, men are weird. But anyway, he asks her about religion, and she does want their kids to be raised Catholic. So they're connecting on the faith stuff. Then he asks, How would you feel if your kids came out queer? Guys, oh God, trigger warning for this because this pissed me off on both sides. You are on television, you're being recorded. You don't think that something this, like this, the way you come out and talk about this, isn't going to be broadcasted for everyone to hear how fucking dumb you sound? And I mean, listen, you're entitled to your thoughts and your feelings, but I just didn't like this conversation and I didn't like how they went about it. And you guys were stupid for having the conversation like this while being recorded. But here we go. She says, I would love my kids, but I want to be like, yay, which I can understand on the one side where you're like, I'm going to worry for the safety, the life my child is going to have, and all of those things. That's not what she's saying, though. That's not what she's saying. She's like, I would make sure they are informed. Informed about what? Like, do you know what you're getting into? How can you inform them on that? Because that is not your experience. You live a cisgendered, heterosexual life. That is not something you can inform somebody on. That is not like listen, I know that not even so much accept, I don't want to use that word, but I know I'm gonna love my children no matter how they live their life. It's not gonna matter to me what they are. I'm gonna support them. But I also know that I am not the person to inform them, nor do I have people in my life that I know can inform them. But I'm gonna do what I need to do to make sure they're running the right information, um, that, can come from the right sources. But she's like, "Do you know what you're getting into?" And he's like, "You think it's a fad?" Oh, for fuck's sakes. Coming out as queer in any case is not a this is such dangerous um conversation to be having right now because you're basically saying, first of all, you're telling me who you voted for, without telling me who you voted for. And secondly, that is such dangerous lingo because you're basically putting things backwards, saying being gay or queer is a choice when it's not a choice. It's not a fucking fad. This is their life, the life that they see fit for themselves. Fuck both of them. And personally, um, she's like, yeah, kids having thoughts like that it's no good. In high school, he says, and he's saying this in high school, I was depressed and keeping to myself. My mom was watching Fox News and his mom was like, I want to ask you. And he's like, I thought she was going to be asking me if I was gay. No, I'm just sad. What in the Lord to Jesus? Y'all, I'm going to have to take a mini break here. But when I come back, I'm going to get back more into this. Oof. Anyways, we'll be back. Okay, guys, I'm back. Sorry for the weird place to take a quick break. But I had to record my other podcast. So yeah, we left off with this whole conversation between Nick and Annie about like, oh, is it a fad? Oh, my mom was like watching Fox News and she's like asking me if I'm gay. No, I'm just sad. What is happening? Um, because first of all, but secondly, it, so weird. But like I felt like I had to bring a girl home and kiss her in front of my family, which is also so weird and inappropriate. But he then tells her, I'm not jerking you around. Like I can see myself proposing to you. He is jerking you and everyone else around, honestly. I hate both of them, to be totally honest with you. But anyways, we have Annie with we have Annie with Brendan. He clearly has some walls up right now because he is sensing some stuff, I think. He says, I feel sure though. And she says, but if you are so sure, like, why are you questioning? Because you are talking to another person while he is not. But anyways, but then they talk about the future. Are you boring? Are you vanilla? Because I'm messy. You might have to clean up after me. Clean up after yourself. I don't like her. Anyways, Casey is on a date with Patrick, and she says when she was with an ex, a different dating show reached out to her to be on the show. And he told her, yeah, go, I'll be here. This is so telling now after what we know happens. And he did the same thing with Love is Blind. He doesn't think this will work though, so um but I decided like I won't tell him when I'm engaged because like he doesn't need to know that. And she says, you might have a text too, like when you like get your phone back. And he says, no, because I cut everything off. I don't have any backup plans. But he says, this gives me pause, which it would give anybody pause. And she says, give me a break. Like, it was so off putting because she is telling you the quiet part out loud. She really is. And then to divert from that, she starts talking about sex just randomly, talking about the fact that she has a landing strip or, I'll wax it off though. Like they end up just going into like a phone sex in a sense in the pods here. And she says like, I want to fuck you. Like I want you in every way. She uses sex to diffuse men, clearly. Then we got Megan with Mike. No tats for him. He doesn't have any tats. You don't put stickers on this car. What uh, what's a car that I can say? A Hyundai? No. Civic. Yes, a Civic. Sure, Civic, whatever. Hyundai Civic. I'm okay. Um, but yeah, just more sex talk between them. She dated a guy who was close to being a billionaire once, but it was crappy. They didn't spend a lot of time together. His idea of showing up was gifts, doing things sometimes and having sex. Basically, my love don't cost a thing, is what she's basically trying to say. Then we have Jordan with Megan. Let's talk about tattoos. He's like, I'm indifferent. Yeah, so you have any? He's like, yeah, a couple. Meanwhile, he has sleeves. But she says, when I come out of the dates, I'm smiling and I'm laughing. My dad had juvenile diabetes and so does Luca. This is maybe a sign from my dad that I'm supposed to be here for Luca. And he says, I have no expectations of you where Luca is concerned, except to love him. He does say that he wants his mom involved in this in the sense of here's the woman I want to marry who's going to be around our son. But he's confident. Then we ask about BDE. He's like, no, think the opposite. SDE. No one wants SDE. Not the physically in this. Anyways, be pleasantly surprised. As long as you know what to do with it is what matters exactly. He says before Luca, he questioned what was his purpose. Like, what am I here for? He says, I mean, maybe we are meant to be each other's purpose. I love that. Then we have Kate with Nick. Ooh. He admits he's being pulled in two different directions, and she says, but you told me you loved me, which he did do that. He says, well, I only said it to you. True, at this point. She says, well, I hope so, because then that is not love. Nope. She says it feels like love bombing. Yeah, that is what this guy is doing to both of them. That invalidates my feelings. But love is not a moment. Once you have my love, you wouldn't lose it, I think is what he said. They would start arguing about religion because, again, she has been pretty clear on where she stands on religion. But now he says, like, I do love you, but like, I just don't think it's enough because God, you don't believe in God. That's basically it here. And my other connection, like we haven't even talked about love, but we sure align on religion and our views on the queer community. We align on that, which is hatred. He said, I hate this. I'm not skipping down the hallway, you know what I mean? So that ends that, I guess. Then we have Nick with Annie, and he says, well, broke up with my other connection. She really came at me with daggers. No, sir, you came at her. Are we watching the same show? Say, I know you're the one. Like, you got me. When I am lying on top of you and our eyes will lock, you will feel the connection. No, that's called love bombing. Then he says, I love you, Annie, after he broke up with the other girl who he said he loved. Oh, love her. Then we have Annie and Brendan, and she's crying. And she says, I feel like I just need more from you, but like at the time that this is over. And he says, well, I wish you the very best. And more on that later when we get to it, because she really pisses me off. Like, I don't like her. In the quarters, all of the guys are talking, and Nick says, I'm so unsure about things. Annie's not typically someone I go for. Right in front of Brendan, who Brendan was just broken up with by the one. You're now saying that she's not typically my type. We then have Patrick and Casey, and he's telling her all of the stuff, basically. And he proposes, and, or his, or the, oh yeah, I know what I'm saying here. He does propose. Of course, she says yes. But it just feels very forced. Casey was not his first pick, but he's his only pick. And I hate it here. It's not a good look. But then we have Annie with Brendan again, but she's ending it this time. For sure, I guess. But he says, I need to fill you in on us. And he says, it pains me to see you with Nick. Respectfully, I can give you that life. And I fully believe him. But she says, what can I do? Back out with Nick? And he says, you're supposed to be with me. Think about it, please. And I think she should think about it. And whatever she decides to do here, we will find out in the next episode. But yeah, guys, that is it for me. That is it for this episode. So if you like what you heard, please rate, review the podcast on either Apple Podcasts or Spotify. Also, don't forget that you can also share us with everyone in your life if you really love this. And I do want to read those reviews. I'm definitely getting 5-star ratings, but I want to read those reviews. So send me those reviews and I will read those 4 and 5-star reviews on the podcast. Also, we're on every one of your favorite podcast apps. Every one of them, including you can find us on YouTube at Reality Tea Times 2. If you want to connect with us, you can do so by going to either Facebook or Instagram at Reality Tea Times 2. You can also find us on Twitter, TikTok, Reddit at Reality Tea Times 2 Pod. We also have our email, which is at realityteatimes2 at hotmail.com. Definitely want to hear from you guys. And we also have our new website where you can listen to all of these episodes. You can review the podcast on there as well. You can connect with me in any way, all the stuff. It's all there. And you can find me there at www.realityteatimes2, all spelled out, .podpage.io. It's there. And don't forget, I also have my other podcast with my friend Mikkel, Next Take Podcast, where we talk about all kinds of different topics. But you can find us on any of your favorite podcast apps over there as well. Or you can also go to YouTube and you go to Next Take Podcast, as well as our website, which is solo.to/Next Take Podcast. So yeah, there's that, and that's basically that. And again, don't forget, if all of this information is overwhelming, we do have all of the links, everything in our show notes. But that is it for now, guys. Thanks. Bye.